Good morning. My name is Bain, and I have the distinct honor of serving as the director of the Wyoming Law Enforcement Academy and to serve as your MC today for our ceremony. In addition to everyone here and being on site, we're also live streaming this ceremony today. We extend our welcome to families, to friends, colleagues, and administrators who are viewing this ceremony from afar. This morning, we celebrate the graduation of Peace Officer Basic Class 21C-158. That number that you see on your program does have some meaning. 21 obviously is the year. C indicates it's the third Peace Officer Basic for 2021. And 158 denotes that this is the 150th. Audience, I would ask that you please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation. The class has selected their classmates who are military veterans to lead us in the pledge. Students. We are pleased to have Tim Ricker, a member and past president of the Wyoming Law Enforcement Chaplains Association, with us to deliver today's invocation. Chaplain Ricker.
Prayer. Heavenly Father, as we are here to honor these graduates, I pray for your blessings to be poured out upon them in abundance. I pray that your hands of protection surround them as they leave these hallowed halls and go back to their respective communities and families. I pray that you reward them with fulfillment and satisfaction in knowing they are serving their fellow man for a very worthy calling. I thank you for each one of them and their commitment to law enforcement. I pray also for their families and loved ones as they allow these individuals to go out into the dangers of everyday life. Put your arms around them and protect them as well. I thank you for them and their love for others. I thank you for this institution of higher learning, the instructors who have dedicated their lives to training others to serve in this occupation. I pray that you bless all of them, reward them with the satisfaction of a job well done, knowing that they are an integral part of our society. Thank you for the staff that serves here and keeps all things working. Bless them for their dedication to this as well. And last but not least, I pray for America today, for your conviction to stir hearts to follow your leading in the days, weeks, and months ahead. Please bless and keep us safe as we travel from this place to our homes. I ask all this in the precious name of Christ. Amen.
Please be seated. At this time, please allow me a moment to introduce a few of the people sitting before you today. Just to my right, I'm going to skip the first gentleman, Tim Ricker, whom you've already met. Next to him is Jesse Curtis, the Deputy Director, and ending up the line is Kurt Taboga, our Training Manager. No organization can or will be successful without support from behind the scenes, and our Academy is no exception to that rule. These staff members are what make basic training possible and highly effective. As I speak, 3 of our most vital service sections remain at work elsewhere in the facility. It is their collective efforts that contribute and ensure the quality of today's ceremony. These sections include our food service, custodial, and our maintenance staff. Even though they can't be here with us today, would you please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication? Our office section is known for its dedication and efficiency. Without them, we could not accomplish our mission. Could I ask the members of the office team that's with us today to please stand and be recognized? Our last section that is here and part of today's ceremony is our instructional staff. Now, whatever you may have heard about this group, their pride, their enthusiasm for their jobs, and their dedication to the students that they train is second to none. They not only instruct a wide variety of subjects, but they also serve as team leaders, coaches, coordinators, and even security for today's event. Instructional staff present today, would you please stand and be recognized? I'd like to take just a brief moment to talk to you about one instructor that is here with us today. Wayne Maurer is a senior instructor, and as December 27th this year, will have completed 21 years here at the Academy. Prior to coming to the Academy, Wayne served with the Uinta County Sheriff's Office for 13 and a half years as a patrol deputy, investigator, patrol sergeant, and dare officer. Wayne has announced his retirement January 7th, which means that this is his last graduation ceremony. Having been part of over 126 graduations, counting both peace officer and detention officers. Wayne, I added up the numbers this morning. You have been involved in training 3,531 peace officer and detention officer basics in your career. On behalf of the Academy and all Wyoming law enforcement, I want to express our gratitude and appreciation for years of service, both here at the Academy and Uinta County. Thank you and congratulations. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. It's a hard moment for me because I've worked with him for those 21 years, and those are going to be tough shoes to fill when he's gone. We wish him the best. At this point in our ceremony, I ask that those county sheriffs and chiefs of police who are attending the ceremony today to please stand and be recognized. It is not an easy feat for these administrators to clear their schedules and be here personally to celebrate their officers' or deputies' graduation. But thank you, administrators, for your support of your students and for your continued support of our Academy. And finally, we'd like to give recognition to the department's command staff, middle managers, first-line supervisors, and law enforcement co-workers in our audience today. Would everyone representing a law enforcement agency please stand? It is now my honor to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today's ceremony. He was raised in Casper and graduated from Kelly Walsh High School. After high school, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, where he spent 4 years as an infantryman and was honorably discharged in 1990. He began his police career with the Casper Police Department in 1990, and after working in several specialty assignments, he was promoted to sergeant in 1996 and to lieutenant in 2003. In 2005, he became a sergeant in the Army National Guard. He was deployed to Iraq, where he led a SWAT team of Iraqi police officers. In 2009, he was promoted to the rank of captain and was then selected as the Casper Chief of Police in 2011. He retired as chief in February 2014 and subsequently served as an investigator for the Wyoming Parimutuel Commission. He was elected to the Casper City Council in 2016 and served in that capacity until July 2019, when he was appointed to his current position. He is married to his lovely wife, Tori, and they enjoy spending time on their ranch with their horses and family. It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, the Executive Director of the Wyoming Peace Officers and Standard Training Commission, Chris Walsh.
Thank you, Director Bain. I appreciate the opportunity. And thank you all for coming and braving one of our spontaneous snowstorms as the roads were closed partially around the state. And it's nice to see a packed house, though. You know, in our lives, we have many celebrations and milestones. Graduating from the Peace Officer Basic Training is truly a significant. It is the beginning of a life of service to our communities. It is made more significant and extraordinary when friends, family, and coworkers can be here to witness it. I graduated from Peace Officer Basic in this very room from the C Basic in 1990, and I've been a peace officer since that time. As Director Bain pointed out, I'm Chris Walsh. I'm the director of P.O.S.T, is the abbreviation. The abbreviated longer term is Peace Officer Standard and Training Commission. And most of my career was spent with the Casper Police Department. I retired from there and ultimately attained the rank of chief. And then you move on. So as your career keeps progressing, you keep progressing. So I'd like to talk to the class right now. Officers of Class 21C 158, you've done a fine job these past many weeks. I've enjoyed watching you. I suspect when you began this journey, you had an interview in your hiring process. I'll bet every one of you was asked this question: why do you want this job? Your answer was simple, right? I want to help people. Everyone in this room that's worn a badge has said the same thing. And that's because the true answer would take too long for an interview or a hiring process, and you would think that maybe the board would think you're crazy on top of it. The true answer, fast cars and cool uniform? No, that's not it. The real answer is each of you feel an overwhelming and compelling sense of duty to justice. You can't stand to see someone wronged. Most of society sees or hears about a crime committed, and they sympathize with those impacted by the event. You see or hear about the same issue and immediately want to do something to fix it, or do something to bring the offender to justice. You didn't suddenly just feel this duty-bound sense when you saw a cop job come open. It's been something that was instilled in you long, long ago, and that was instilled in you by the people that are out here today, by your family, by someone significant in your life. Now, where that comes from and how it's generated, it doesn't matter. Let some professor figure that out in some study, but we all know it's true. That justice that was instilled in you is going to be very important, and I want you to remember that throughout the rest of your career. I'm going to remind you of that, and I'll remind you of that as we see each other as you go throughout your career. But when you leave today, some of you are going to be on duty as early as tomorrow. Always remember why you started down this road. It's easy to get overly cynical, overly jaded, and I promise you, you will become jaded, at least to some extent. It's impossible not to. You will see and be involved in all the worst imaginable in the human condition. Be very careful not to let the negative consume you. Remember this: Lady Justice is blindfolded. Equal justice for all. Make no distinction between anyone or any circumstance. Equal justice for all. Police are absolutely the most critical link in our society. Our society could not and would not function without our police force. It could not happen. Without well-trained and exceptional officers such as yourself, we would be lost. We would be nothing except into a tribal conflict. So remember that is a heavy weight that you carry, and you can feel it on your chest right now. Leave emotions out of your decisions. Rely only on facts and the law. I have a few other survival tips for you. You're going to miss holidays with your family and other important dates and events. I recommend you always celebrate them together whenever the opportunity presents itself. When you have to work on Christmas, do it well, and then have a great Christmas celebration with family after your shift is over. Don't let yourself become a victim. Take control of situations personally and professionally. Here's something to keep in mind. Avoid using the word they. And then let me tell you the context that I'm talking about. We've all heard this. Maybe we've all said it. Don't fall into that, guess what they did to me now. Maybe you're referring to a department administration, another government organization, maybe the bank. But whenever you do that, put a name to they. And before you let it consume you, ask yourself what your role was in the problem. Here's an example. They made me come in on my day off to finish some paperwork. Put a name to it. Captain Cheney made me come in and sign last night's affidavit because I left without finishing it. See how that changes the narrative? You'll go through other phases in your career. One of those is the know-it-all phase. As I'm looking out here right now, there might be some of you in that phase right now. All right, everybody that's ever worn a uniform has been through all these and maybe still going through them. I promise you, you're going to hit at about the final phase of your field training program. I know it all. I did. Until my first night on my own, on my first gun call, and I got to deal with this alone. I should have listened better. That's what's going through my head. I'm running lights and siren thinking, ooh, I should have listened. Well, you got to go fix those problems. And maybe at about that point is when you realize that that old FTO wasn't as lazy and washed up as you thought. Remember, there's always room to learn, and you can't listen enough. At some point, you'll move on, and in a couple years, you'll be doored up with another officer in the middle of the night. That discussion is going to revolve around the sergeant, the lieutenant, the chief, or the sheriff, and you know what? They're out of touch. They won't know what it's like on the street anymore. Us coming up with dumb policies, adding duties, making you follow the rules. The problem is they just don't get it. And moving ahead, you're going to move into promotion. I encourage you to seek promotion. And by the time you get to promotion, then you know it all. It's validated, right? There's the stripes on your sleeve. You know it all. The problem is the people that are working for you, they don't get it. You can't get through to them. They won't listen. They don't know enough. They think the latest flashlight is going to be officer safety trick of the year and always want more time off. It keeps going on and like that throughout your career. Here's the advice I can give you on that. Know yourself and seek self-improvement in everything that you do. Once you get into that mode, you'll come to the conclusion that you'll never know it all, but you'll continue to progress. Always remember, though, why you started. Justice. Equal justice for all. There's some other constants in life of the road toad, and if you feel like that's derogatory, it's not, because you're all going to be road toads here real soon. Stale coffee at 04 a.m. at a truck stop, better than anything that Starbucks could ever offer. Winters are cold. The day you decide not to put on your long johns is the day you're in a standoff outside while the suspect's inside. Eating gas station sandwiches can be more risky than serving a high-risk search warrant. Sometimes you got to take a chance. Gun belts don't shrink. The problem's something else. Your most powerful weapon is your mind. Remember that forever. We get better or we get worse. Nothing stays the same. Your shift partners will be as close to you as your family. I recommend you keep both in your life. Officers of Class 21C 158, congratulations. Keep yourselves mentally and physically fit. Hold true to your oaths. fiercely defend your integrity and your honor and your communities. With that, I've said enough. It's time for you to go do good things. I'm proud to know you, officers.
Thank you, Director, for accepting our invitation to our keynote speaker and for your remarks here today. As usual, there are individuals within a class who go above and beyond. Now we give recognition to these officers who have achieved distinction in this basic course. Instructor Steve Sheridan, would you please come forward to present the Physical Fitness Award?
Thank you, Director Bain. During basic training, the students attend 36 hours of fitness instruction. These training sessions include aerobic, anaerobic, and core strength building circuit training. These students are tested physically from the moment they arrive until their final PT assessment. Each assessment includes their maximum number of push-ups and sit-ups in 1 minute, as well as their time for a 1.5-mile run. The top PT award goes to the student who has the highest cumulative percentile score during the final PT assessment based on age and gender. The Physical Fitness Award winner completed the following: 54 sit-ups in 60 seconds, 62 push-ups in 60 seconds, and a 1.5-mile run in 10 minutes and 18 seconds. The Physical Fitness Award for Peace Officer Basic 21C 158 goes to Officer Joshua Morrison from the Buffalo PD. Mr. Rippey, would you please come forward to give recognition for those who exceeded in firearms?
Thank you, Mr. Sheridan. To prepare for final proficiency scores, Peace Officer Basic students shoot approximately 1,500 handgun rounds at distances of 3 to 50 yards, as well as 600 rifle rounds out to 100 yards. In order for a student to achieve certification, they must shoot a minimum proficiency score of 80% with their handgun and their patrol rifle. The Wyoming Law Enforcement Top Gun Award is given in recognition of an individual's outstanding performance and dedication to firearms excellence. The top shooter in this class shot 100% with their handgun and 100% with their rifle. The Wyoming Law Enforcement Academy Top Gun Award for Peace Officer Basic 21C 158 goes to Deputy Craig Kirby with the Natrona County Sheriff's Office. Mr. Millick, will you please come forward to give recognition to those who excelled in academics?
Thank you, Mr. Rippey. The students are tested continuously as they progress their basic training. They must meet established minimum requirements in order to receive their certificate of successful completion. Specifically, they must pass 9 examinations, totaling 721 questions. The top academic award goes to that student who achieved the highest academic cumulative average throughout the Peace Officer Basic. The top academic student in this class had an average of 89.6%. 721 total questions. This officer answered 646 correctly. The academic award for Peace Officer Basic 21C 158 goes to Officer Megan Katurba from the Casper Police Department. Each class elects a spokesperson to represent their class at graduation, to share their collective thoughts and experiences from the training. Classes may also choose to complete a class project. At this time, I'd like to invite up Project Coordinator, Deputy George Martinez from the Laramie County Sheriff's Office, and Class Speaker, Deputy Royal Mitchell from the Crook County Sheriff's Office.
So for a class project, we as a class decided that it would benefit our class and the classes in the future to buy an additional weight bench. So here's our new weight bench for the Academy. Thank you.
Mine's not as short. First of all, we'd like to thank you all for coming here today in this weather, this holiday week. Early in our training, the class agreed for me to speak for them today. And at that time, I was already impressed with the quality of students that had come together to form this class. It has sure become quite the honor for me. Some are experienced in their first milestone graduation. Others, like myself, hope it's my last. With every phase of training that we passed, I was more impressed with the people around me. It became common to see high expectations not only turn into achievements, but even evolve into individual competition, raising that bar even higher. The instructors encouraged this behavior and pushed us even further. You all know about the Top Shot, Best PT, and an academic award. Let me tell you about some of the other achievements the instructors coaxed out of us that typically go unmentioned. And go ahead and raise your hands or stand up when I mention you. Fastest draw, real Wild West shooting here, was Brett Nassett. Yep. Go ahead and raise that other hand there. Obviously, before that happened. He's with Gillette PD, and he drew in 1.1 seconds, shot on a point target. Furthest pistol shot on a point target, standing with a Glock 45 at 50 yards, Nico Chavez. Yep. He's from Laramie PD, and 50 yards only because that's all range had. Rifle speed reload and hit a point target was Andrew Weisling, also from Laramie PD. And what they didn't tell you was we had 3 top shooters. They had to shoot out with each other. First one you know, Craig Kirby from Natrona County. Also was Ryan Allred from Fremont County, Austin Tennant from Campbell County. And we also had a 2-gun multi-target with 40-yard run and shoot. The winner of that was Tyler Hauser. There you go. He did it, and he's with Mills PD. He did it in 26 seconds. For a little context there, Mr. Steele, our leader, cheating, shot it in 27 seconds. And finally, the 11th hour on Friday, the only good idea from our class finally came out from Tia, from Teton County. This is just a sample of what these instructors can bring out of us with their experience and their dedication. I know not every day they were proud of all of us, but they would always rise to our needs. Maybe relishing in some strategic pain doled out in custody control or a well-placed sim round. Your local sheriffs, your police chiefs chose these people to become part of this family and to represent their offices and departments in our community. Scratch the surface a little and you will see an extraordinary blend of people from different walks of life and from far corners of this country. We have detention deputies crossing over into patrol. We have military continuing to serve, 4 Army, 1 Air Force, and 4 Marines. We have firefighters, EMTs, that realize they can't soar with the eagle when they're running with the turkeys. We have small business owners, legal assistants, multiple degree holders, cancer survivors, multi-generational cops, even a gym coach taking his game to the next level. We have officers from Alaska to Florida, Minnesota, even California. To me, that says a lot about our great state, that these people are willing to move their families here in a time when the country's been through unprecedented hardships. We all make hard choices through life, and we won't always agree on things like policies, the environment, or even the cafeteria food. I know I'll miss those nice ladies always eager to serve us. All these officers in front of you, no matter where they come from, want the same thing for their families as those of you who have been here your whole lives. The choice to be law enforcement is not a popular one right now. It's not the first time law enforcement has been heavily scrutinized and ostracized. With the ebb and flow of social opinion, it takes courage to step up, fill the law enforcement need, especially in today's social climate. It can be downright dangerous. That's why your support is the most important. Every one of you there in those bleachers are here because you matter significantly to someone graduating today, whether your family or in their charge. We can't prevent the tide from turning against us, but we can always choose where we stand. We're called peace officers, community caretakers, public servants, and even guardians. And when all fails, we're even called gunfighters. So when your shift is long, weather is harsh, you've patched more fence and chased more cows in your job description ever mentioned. Never forget you are now entrusted with the lawful capability to take from people two things that matter most: freedom and life. In these walls of academia, we have met those who will back our play when we're under scrutiny and prosecution, or pick us apart if we do intentional wrong. So make good choices. Do that which is right to do, not because it will ensure you success or bring with it a reward or gain the applause of men, but because it is right and therefore ought to be done. And then for God's sake, be able to articulate why. Ensure you meet people on the level. Square your deals with everyone you can. Make sure your moral compass stays true. Our discretion and use of force can change lives favorably or irreparably. Other professions have the luxury of failure. Today, we leave that option here in these walls. Thank you.
Thank you, class, for your class project, and Deputy Mitchell, thank you for your words here today. And now to our final award. In every class, there are those students who are willing to distinguish themselves by their exemplary work and efforts. They strive to become the best of the best within this class and their chosen profession. As a form of recognition for the one student who continually performed to their best of the abilities, the Academy has established the Honor Graduate Award. Mr. Taboga, Mr. Maurer, would you please come forward to give recognition to those students who have been nominated for this award?
Thank you, Director Bain. The Honor Graduate Award is the highest honor the Academy presents to a student graduating from the Wyoming Law Enforcement Basic course. In order to be eligible to receive the award, a student must be nominated by a member of the instructional staff. It is not a popularity contest, and it is an honor to be nominated. Once the officer is nominated, a very comprehensive and an objective point system is used to assess the nominee's performance while attending the basic. The specific areas evaluated are the student's academic scores, proficiency in firearms, custody and control, and physical fitness. In addition, students are assessed in the following 6 areas of professional citizenship: leadership, effort, cooperation, initiative, attitude, and improvement. In alphabetical order, will the following officers please come forward and receive your Merit Award for recognition of your nomination? From Mills Police Department, Officer Tyler Hauser. From the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Craig Kirby. From the Sheridan Police Department, Officer Alexander Murray. And last but not least, from the Teton County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Tia Stanton. The Honor Graduate Award recognizes the one student in each basic class who exemplifies the attributes of a professional peace officer and who performed exceptionally in all phases of training. In addition to receiving today's plaque, and with the intent to encourage the recipient, beyond today's recognition, the Honor Graduate will receive a $500 scholarship for any advanced training offered here at WLEA. It is a long-standing tradition that the audience stand while the Honor Graduates Award is presented, so would you please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, the Honor Graduate Award for Peace Officer Basic 21C 158 goes to Tyler Hauser from Mills Police Department. At this time, we will award the graduation certificates.
All of the staff here at WLEA congratulate you, Peace Officer Basic 21C 158, for completing your basic training. We started this journey just a few short weeks ago, and today we have arrived. On behalf of the class and Academy staff, we would like to thank the many Wyoming law enforcement agencies and associations across the state who partner with us to provide the best training possible so that these new officers have what they need to do their jobs competently, reasonably, and safely. The Wyoming Association of Chiefs and Sheriffs of Police, the Wyoming Peace Officers Association, the Wyoming Law Enforcement Chaplains Association, and the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission are a few of the many who regularly devote expertise, financial assistance, and manpower to assist us in accomplishing our mission. We thank you. The Academy would also like to recognize the families of these men and women who themselves willingly sacrifice in 1,000 ways that most people don't even understand so that their loved one can go out and defend their communities. The family events, the schedules, the chores, the missed moments, the anxiety over the potential of that phone call, the pain of watching your officer come home and suffer from seeing the unimaginable. You do this willingly, and not just once or not just for a time, but every day your loved one puts on that uniform. They cannot do what they do without you. You took care of things these last several weeks so that your loved one could be here and study their craft. We see you, we thank you for your sacrifice, and we appreciate you. Basic 21C 158, we have arrived. You have spent the last several weeks constantly engaged in activities that forced you to face adversity you did not ask for, reconcile failures that were often quickly pointed out to you, recognize successes that no one else seemed to notice, deal with boredom, deal with people, solve countless problems, and at times struggle to see the purpose in it all. And despite all of that, you've arrived here today. You have achieved. You have earned your place in our profession. You learned from your failures and built on your successes. You found peace and rest in boredom. You figured out that people can be incredibly beautiful and unimaginably horrible, and sometimes bring the same call. And while each of you have your own reasons for becoming an officer, it is our hope that you caught a glimpse of the purpose of our profession: to protect others, to serve others, and to sacrifice for others. To willingly step into that arena each day and fight the dragons that many times society cannot even bring themselves to look upon. It is a calling, a hard calling, sometimes a thankless and brutal calling, but it is also the most noble and precious of callings, accepted each day by men and women of high honor who love their communities and choose to act. We are proud of you for working that calling. Our challenge to each of you now is to take the greatest care in preserving the honor of our profession. Director Bain, I recommend the awarding of certificates of successful completion for the Wyoming Post-approved 605-hour Peace Officer Basic course. Folks, as we get ready here, as your graduate comes front and center, please feel free to come down and take pictures. We have as much time as you need. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Terralyn M. Allerid. From the Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Ryan M. Allred. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer M. Bolkovats. From the Cody Police Department, Officer Rachel R. Boydston. From the Guernsey Police Department, Officer James D. Chavez. From the Laramie Police Department, Officer Luciano N. Chavez. From the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Harrison D. Cummings. From the Bighorn County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Annie S. Giles. We have several special presenters with us here today to present certificates to their family members. Our first special presenter began his law enforcement career with the Laramie County Sheriff's Office in 1995, where he currently serves as the jail administrator. Here to present his son-in-law certificate, please help me welcome Captain Don Hollingshead. And from the Laramie County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Thomas E. Grundle. From the Mills Police Department, Officer Tyler C. Hauser. From the Riverton Police Department, Officer Jonathan V. Johnson. From the Douglas Police Department, Officer Tristan A. Johnson. Our next special presenter began his law enforcement career with the Cheyenne Police Department in 1998, where he currently serves as a captain. Here to present his son's certificate, please help me welcome Captain Jared Kessler. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Jeremiah L. Kessler. From the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Craig S. Kirby. From the Casper Police Department, Officer Megan B. Koturba. From the Jackson Police Department, Officer Sean R. Leonard. From the Laramie County Sheriff's Office, Deputy George Martinez. From the Crook County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Royal C. Mitchell. From the Buffalo Police Department, Officer Joshua B. Morrison. From the Meriden Police Department, Officer Alexander F. Murray.
I'll hold him here all day long.
Our final special presenter began his law enforcement career with the Kalispell, Montana Police Department, where he served for 26 years, including 11 as chief. Here to present his son's certificate, please help me welcome Chief Roger Nassett. And from the Gillette Police Department, Officer Brett M. Nassett. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Talmadge T. Peden. From the Teton County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Tia M. Stanton Nito. From the Campbell County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Austin M. Tennant. Our next graduate could not be with us today as she is attending a trial. Would you please help me congratulate from the Gillette Police Department, Officer Elizabeth D. Threlkill. From the Cheyenne Police Department, Officer Daniel M. Van Swearingen. From the Laramie Police Department, Officer Andrew T. Weisling. And from the Sheridan Police Department, Officer Bradley T.B. Wood. Sorry. Because I can't read things in numerical order. Let's try this again. From the Cody Police Department, Officer Tanner L. Wickern.
We're almost there. These past 12 weeks have required considerable investment in time, energy, and money to prepare these students to serve their communities as law enforcement officers. Students, we have saturated you with knowledge, with law, terms, and tactics. We tested you nearly every week. We sprayed you, we tossed you, we ran you. We even made some of you drive beyond your comfort levels and even ours. We placed you in multiple scenarios that required you to demonstrate your ability to search buildings, to make traffic stops, respond to domestic violence calls. You encountered non-compliant and deadly suspects. You investigated crimes, handled people in crisis, all while maintaining your composure and professional demeanor. Despite all of this exposure, the reality is the real work and training begins when you walk out of these doors. The public you serve will be far more critical of your job performance than any of our instructors ever were. The next phase of your training begins with your field training officers and your own agencies who will build upon this knowledge and your skills to make you even better and apply them in real-life situations. As you encounter those situations, it's important to always act with honor and integrity. Remember that law enforcement is always under the watchful eye of the public, and when one officer chooses a path of adverse actions or behaviors, that choice often affects all of us. That poor choice may very well tarnish the badge that many have worked so hard to uphold. So, as a public affirmation of your commitment to uphold high standards required of our law enforcement profession, I now ask you, in front of your family, your colleagues, administrators, and guests, to submit to the law enforcement oath of honor. I'm also going to invite all sworn law enforcement officers present today to voluntarily participate together. You as Wyoming veteran officers, along with our state's newest officers, to profess our commitment to perform jobs ethically, honorably, and with integrity. Would those veteran officers who wish to affirm your oath please stand at this time? Students, would you please stand at this time? I would ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I will never betray my badge, my character, my integrity, accountable for our own actions. I will always uphold the Constitution and the community I serve. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the graduates of 21C 158. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our formal ceremony. We would invite you to join us for refreshments in our dining hall. We wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for coming, and please have a safe trip home.